quick chat here before signing off. By the way, I'm not relinquishing my position as Executive Director of the CIA. I just wanted to have a quick chat about what is and isn't. Stalinic Hasidism. Everything is in mint condition. You want to take the Christian perspective, Orthodox. The self is some kind of marred event. Something like that, something dark, something becoming, something not there, something not fool, something, evolving, learning. Somehow that's dark. I don't know. If dark means correct, I'd rather have that. Not like we have piles of examples of that. Once upon a time, I understood that to work the wrong way was not worth it. That to go corporate or sell out or something like that, work yourself into a corner or some kind of hole or some shit. That in terms of spiritual capacity, elevation, evolution, you'd have to work yourself back out. So you'd lose all of that. I mean, this was when I was like 16. This is not hard enough. You would lose all of that you just invested all that time, work, money. Have to work yourself back out. And then additionally, you would have all of that karma of having done things incompletely, or shallowly, or forsaken truth, or selfishly might be a good term. Selfishly, Stalinic Hasidism. You have access to everything. All of the dark, all of the correct, all that you are. There is not an error in the entire goddamn system. It goes the whole way from the bottom to the whole way on the top. Prophetic. Where do prophets come from? Well, they have to exist, is the thing. Do you correctly exist? You know what I mean? Do you have to go kink? And then you get into your bullshit DS. Your retroactive, reactive, reactionary, slavery, that kind of thing. Just catch that. On the far end of that, you have Antichrist shit. Basically, it's people who have done wrong, corporate, sellout, incomplete, wrong, shallow, untrue, false, fake, the whole time. And so now, they come back around and they say, well, we're doing all of that so that either God can happen, magic can happen, sorcery can happen, prophecy can happen, truth can happen, society can happen, the self can happen, freedom can happen. There's not a single fucking free thing in their whole way. To the point that you yourself are not free, which was my main complaint all the way back with the white trash people, because they start to basically bill you or charge you or give you back things that are already yours, which is the premise of AI. Why your face is getting warped, why your shit is getting capped, hatted, why you're limited, why you're being limited. If you get rid of the possibility of perfection, it never happens. If you limit from yourself infinity, infinite possibilities and so on, destruction is not a possibility. There's, conservation of energy is what you run into, then your karma and shit starts happening. Why do we work in the quantum world as subs, right? Why are we meticulous? Why do we bother to get things correct? That's why. So, I don't know, the Antichrist is a bad man. If you've ever seen her, she's disgusting. The missing link, basically, is about where that comes to. So then they go and they do all of that limiting. What comes with the limiting? Well, not magic, because it doesn't produce anything. If it comes on the inside, all it does is limit you from infinity, destroying your possibility, your potential, effectively yourself. Your view, you talk about perspective and things like that. Reality is a function of perception. You do all these Buddhist things so that we don't limit ourselves, limit myself, limit oneself. Either unnecessarily or untruly, unduly, stupidly, incorrectly, basically would be the term. You can is the American premise. You can do that. You can rewire your brain. You can become something greater. You can become something that has infinite potential, that lasts, that is godly, that is true, that is full, that is complete, that is correct, that is one. There's no stretching, there's no segregation, there's no disloyalty. Nothing like that. So now, all the things that they're trying to protect, in a sense, they undo, break, hoard, ruin, basically destroy in doing all those things. What are their methods? Well, limitations, the blackmail, the basically non-religious bullshit is what they do. And then they call that politic just because it's not religious. Oh, I'm being responsible by doing this. Therein is the key. Because when you turn back around and you start claiming that you hold that action, that whole span of shit is now all of your fault. Why are we so careful on the quantum level? Why do we sit very still? Why do we mind the silence? Why do we not do things when we don't know what we're doing? Why is it so hard to want something? that's why. That's why we do those things. And so now, all of the things that they say they're trying to protect, quote unquote, teaching, magic, learning, all the stuff that's available and still in Hasidism. Why can't we make this one look as good as this one? All it comes to your own actions, your own thoughts, your own words, your own deeds, your own way. You are responsible for those actions. So we talk about AI. They want to maintain this sort of thing where we know, in a sense, that everything's okay. Basically, it's illusion of safety is kind of their presence at the highest point. A kind of hypnosis, a kind of dysregularity, a kind of cancer. It never works out. They took it to the point of Nazism, and it still didn't work out. They brought Nazism here. It still didn't work out. They mixed Nazism with KKK and created Mormonism. Still didn't work out. They did AI. Still didn't work out. All of these equations. Oh, here's all this shit. We're going to have Stephen Hawking barf in a fucking bag, draw a bunch of fucking lines, and peel out. Here's all of that shit. Here's Cambridge. Here's fucking, here's all this shit. Still didn't work out. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, all of these things are available to you all of the time. And you refuse that because of your clans, because of your groups that you sacrifice part of yourself to become part of, to create an image, to then promote that image, to then sell that image. You just wisp away in the wind. Nothing solid about you, nothing good about you, nothing worthwhile, nothing of any value. Each and every time. So we have Stalinic Hasidism, the unlimited potential of correctness. The whole thing. Versus this illusion of safety shit, where we're supposed to know something, and then in the quantum physics term, if you know it, quote unquote, as in you have posited it, as in that is your action, as in you are responsible for that action, it collapses from a wave of potential to a singularity. It's not a constant, which is where your repetition bullshit comes in. The repetition bullshit was forwarded from Israel basically to Britain, kind of as like an attack move, basically, to dominate or conquer the world. They bit, and have regretted it every day, basically, at least since the Civil War, certainly since the Revolution. Backtrack. That's all your unlearning bullshit. You don't have to deal with that if you're not white trash. If you're American or Islamic, American Islamic, American Islamic, Buddhist, Hasidic, Asian, good, South American, African, any of those things are better than what is this white trash saga. Because once they start doing that, they start going, well, this action that I'm doing here to you means that somewhere way off, this is where they start fucking up the, it's kind of like the New Age battle, which is stupid as fuck. Because I have to be here, there's some sort of me that's often a distant land that's doing something different. But I'm here because I care about you. I love you. And that means that I can jihad you or something like that. I'm not really sure what the context is, but probably deals with attachment. Desire leads to suffering. Pretty basic premise. Hardcore. True. But basic and simplistic. There's nothing complicated. There's no Cambridge. You know, you don't have to have a degree in psychology. It would be Frank Zappa, emotional scale to grasp it. Everybody has this. So the unanimous is not actually God, so to speak. It's the environment that is the self. We all have to eat. But if you concentrate on that and you know that, that's when you start limiting yourself from like higher realms and higher spheres. So like with stalinic acidism, you focus on kind of dealing with things in ways that are kind of material and trivial, and as we know them, they collapse to a singularity. They're one thing, and now we know them. You know, now it's less important because the unlimited potential keeps going on. We have conquered that, so to speak. We evolve over it. We transcend it. It becomes us in a way. But you have to get it correct, or you start to eat some sort of digression or something like that. And you have to posit yourself and overexert yourself and, you know, shit like that. The point I'm making is that for all of their thoroughfare, all of their pomp and circumstance, they have nothing. That you could pick any street kid out of India, anyone, Aboriginal, Chinese, Malaysian, African, South American. America's full of trash because of that shit. The Antichrist shit, the Mormonism shit. Courts all backed up, people running around in fucking masks, faces being warped, people complaining about energy and shit. Oh, the energy. The energy's bad because of them. There's no way around that. That's the progression of those actions. And then you get to it at a religious point now, and then they say, oh, we're being political and responsible, and look at my face, look at my skin shine shit, you know. You're the one being the religious whack, you know. Even though they have pushed this now to the point of religion, instead of looking at, you know, like this one thing, this one thing, this one thing. And that's what we did. Stalinic acidism, you know, one by one by one by one by one by one. That's the way that things work. Things get built, things are solid, things are complete. And this has been going on for a long time. You know, socialism is not some sort of new enterprise, you know. Society, people recognizing people, you know, hurt, desire, want, fear. This is all part of the human tangent, so to speak. So just before signing off here, the safely say the limiting agent is the wrong one, and then destruction itself, violence, is the limiting agent. Because violence is separation, you won't be able to get to the next thing. You haven't transcended it. You simply run into something that you have to constantly return to. Is the way that works out in the Vedic Not that you can like ignore reality and then suppose some sort of face, and ollie your face, and then some sort of psychological twist that forgives you for having fucked up, and now you don't have to deal with it. I don't know what sort of messianic characteristic you're worshiping, what kind of non-reality you're dealing with, in your non-awareness, in your illusion of safety. But yeah, it's this premise of, protecting the home front sort of garbage that never happened because they're the ones who are destroying it. It doesn't work that way. And it also doesn't work in terms of I'm going to destroy something and then at the same time protect something different or something like that. It's this characteristic of war. Way back over here on the Stalinic Hasidism side, you understand that those things are trivial, not absolute, incomplete. And then way far over there on the other end, that's your bad existentialism. The fork is the fork. It's not going to get up and fucking kill you, Why do we have to do gun control? White trash. Antichrist shit. I'm alright with it, I guess. So long as the government's good and I'm the one that just did that. So, that's all okay. Why I'm not giving up my position. I do good work. Yeah. So I might not provide illusion of safety because if I would be doing that, I wouldn't be doing my job. I don't do that. I've never done that. Lied and cheated and all of that shit. And walked out and one by one. Either took the shit out or put the shit in. I know what's in my brain aside from AI. So now they want to come back and say, for my illusion of safety, for my continuance of crime, basically, my way. That was never part of the appeal. That was never part of society, governance, law, ethic, logic, math, efficiency, integrity, absolutism, infinity. None of those things. All I wanted to reference, and all we got into now, carrot, is that entire saga of disruption, that illusion of safety, birthing problem-based society. The illusion of safety is what they come to. It is not godly. Take another look. If you need it boiled down that quick, that much in binary, still not have war. That's what it is. So that's your failed system, your failed state, police state, slave state. Those are the people who are doing it. Unconstitutionality incorporated. So I'm done with that. I'm not comfortable working for Jeffrey Dahmer. Ignorance plus. Deception instead of forthrightness. Go back through the American calendar. White or black. Pick your characteristic. It's the same thing. There's no division. It's all illusion. There's no higher or lower. Whatever. They're pretending to protect this sort of source radic, and this was the one last point that I kind of wanted to reference. This notion that Hasidic Stalinism, Stalinic Hasidism, in some sort of way or any form or capacity limits you. It doesn't. It deals with looking at the things. That's the unknown. That's God. You're the fool. And we're going to do the one by one things that we do know constitutionally that we have nailed down. Leave evolution open. Progress toward your spirit is constitutionality. Is a form of source radic. You can go way out there. Can I do that? Yeah, I'm trained. I'm skilled. I know how to do that. Anything wrong with that? No. You shouldn't be sticking your nose in places that it doesn't belong. Past your initial space, into somebody else's initial space might be a way of saying it. If you find yourself doing that, you're doing something wrong. There's some sort of con. So a big fuck you to each and every person that I see every day that fucks all this shit up on purpose. Lane James and the Bang Gang. That's why you're suffering. That's why we're suffering. Because your actions, you claim them in knowledge. Done with the British epoch and all that shit. No one wants it. No one wants it. They're corrupt as fuck. So now they're dishing back and going into constitutionality, Stalinic Hasidism, mint. And yeah, everyone else can be put to shame. 2755, you know. Worthless bastards. So that's why you're a terrorist. And there's no place for you in America and constitutionality, Stalinic Hasidism, black power, white power. Black power is white power. Intuition is black. Peace be with you, you know. And then, because you claim that knowledge, and we have all that information, by the way. Sorry, you're under the influence. We don't buy that you can't. What you can't looks like a totally different thing. That you're being taxed for what you're not doing is not my business. I don't go into your initial space to do that. I would provide this, I would provide this, I would provide this. Whole chains of things. Everything working seamlessly, frictionlessly, without diversion. No mistakes. Multiplicity of force. Greater return. You know, just off the land, just off fucking kinetic motion that we're moving. It buys itself. How do we get all the way up there? Well, you're not a fucking con to begin with. You do that in knowledge, you do it every day. I've watched you do it every fucking day. Why doesn't it work out for you? That's why. You're not an idiot. You're a fool. You're a douchebag. And you do that in knowledge. Plain light of God. Why doesn't your sorcery work out? Why can't you do magic? Because you do that. Because you're white trash. Because you're Antichrist. Case closed. Fuck off.